Ready. Good evening and welcome to the Barrington School Board meeting and budget workshop for October 28th. Say the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry.
Maybe the money was saving not giving out pins the last two meetings.
They're a
Do
little
you want a
pricey.
pin, Rick?
They're expensive.
Any changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay. Can I get a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Nope. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, minutes.
Make a motion to approve the October 21st budget workshop minutes as written.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Oh, yes,
Rick said aye.
here.
Present.
Good morning, Mr. Walker.
All right, we're up to the first opportunity for public comment. We always turn to those in public, in presence. And then, Scott Chase, you have anything you want to say? Raise your hand. All right, I'm going to say we're going to skip over the school board meeting schedule till the other members get here.
Although I hear some car doors.
Excellent, well then, hold please.
Pause, everyone.
Talks amongst yourselves.
I just heard a second car door. This might be looking good.
We're just going to tell them we're way more efficient without them. We're just not done.
They might blow up in our face and they might not show up again.
Well,
Then we'd be stuck with three of them.
we literally are pausing because we're.
Rick, making a motion to remove Jason from the board while he's not here is just,
We heard car doors, so we paused.
how was it? That's awesome.
Congratulations to the
Did you like my
jockey volleyball
play-by-play?
girls.
So we just got rid of the busy work there. So we're up to where we're going to talk about the next school board meeting that we have to adjust. So we figured we'd wait for you guys.
So good.
Oh my God.
Calendars out, please.
So what are we moving now?
So
Number 18.
the 18th meeting is a concert at the middle school.
Yes.
So I don't know if people want to go to Monday the 17th, Wednesday the 19th. Does anyone have anyone in chorus?
I could do either.
Same. I'm not gonna, I'll go with whatever
I
everyone
already
else
have a
can. I've
meeting
already
on
asked.
Monday the 17th at 4, so I'd prefer to do it on Monday. So that way I have one bad night that week rather than.
What's your meeting?
I'm on the signs committee for town apparently, so.
Oh, so we can't move the other meeting. The DPA.
Right.
All right, so you'd prefer the 17th?
Yeah,
All right,
6
Good
o'clock.
deal.
all right. It'll now be
That's
on
good
the
with everybody
17th instead of the 18th.
All right, thank you
It's
very
6
much.
PM, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you all so much. I sincerely appreciate it.
High maintenance, the two of you. Sorry.
Spoiler alert, the spring one will impact us. That's the last
We'll
one.
take care of that.
And Elizabeth's gonna move that one.
We,
That's
we
great.
have time to
Thank
make
you.
some changes.
Yes, appreciate it.
All right, so we're up to follow-up questions from the previous budget workshop.
I have a couple items, unless you guys have questions you wanted to start with, or do you want me to start? Me, Garth says me. All right, so 2 requests from last time, one on the substitute line and one on a potential early retirement incentive. So I'm going to talk substitute line first, 'cause it's a little less weighty. So Vicki looked back 5 years, and there's a little pretty consistent, like 3 or 4 of the years for each of the buildings, and then there was like this outlier. So we looked at each building separately. For the ECLC, threw out the one low year and took the average of the other four. So the 4-year average is actually $22,900, and we currently have been budgeting $10,000 for quite a while. We haven't increased that line in a bit. So the suggestion for ECLC would be to increase to $15,000. So hopefully we won't be managing the degree of leaves and coverage needs that we have, but that average of those 4 years is 22. So still slightly under budgeted, but hoping to get back to more of those regular amounts. Same scenario with BES. They had one extremely high and one extremely low year of the 5, so sort of tossed those out as the outliers and took the average of the other 3. Which is just over $56,000. Budgeted is $31,250. So the suggestion there would be a $50,000 budgeted line increase, not increased by 50, but 250.
What line?
The number.
The number, please, sorry.
What's this? Yeah.
$1,102.
Thank you.
Page 2.
And then BMS had one low outlier year of the 5, so did an average of the remaining 4, which was $58,723, budgeted at $43,750. So Vicki and I were kind of puzzled as to why the budgeted amounts were so different for BES and BMS because the staff size is similar. So given that their usage is very similar, I would recommend the same $50,000 be budgeted for that building as well. So we can make those adjustments, and then if we make any other adjustments tonight, then we can bring back at the next meeting when we review the remaining lines what how that adjusts the bottom line.
Were the outlier years consistent across the 3 schools?
No, so ECLC, so we went back to fiscal year '21. Their low year was fiscal year '24, so 2 years ago.
Yeah.
At a 12.9, and then the rest of their years were in the low 20s. BES, their high year was fiscal year '22 at over $71,000, $71,500. And then they had a fiscal year '21, an incredibly low year at $37,800. So we,
So weird.
and then the other years, yeah, there's no rhyme or reason.
I was thinking
to
like
it.
after 2020, like maybe that next year, well, if you got sniffles, stay home, type of thing, and
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have seen that on the rise, like, as we saw when we did the chart on sick days.
Yeah.
There's just that's
Yeah.
culture now, right? BMS, they had one low year, which was fiscal year '22. So there's no.
no rhyme or reason. It's just infectious disease.
I mean, we know that some were maternity leaves, some were medical leaves, there's been, we haven't contracted staff or used subs to augment staff in any way. It was just absences, high usage. So we okay with those adjustments and see where those land us for next time?
Yeah, I know.
All right. All right, so then the other piece from last time was looking at a potential early retirement incentive. So we've talked at the last couple of meetings about potential reduction of staff due to declining enrollment. This is one of the few years in the last several that we haven't had any retirements that we currently know about. So of course, everybody is sensitive to having to do a reduction in force, or, how can we look at this differently if we choose to go down the road of reduction at any kind. So the other pieces that we talked about last week were our best practice policy, what's the ideal class size, how challenging it is to hire new teachers in mid-2025 and beyond. It's been a struggle for a few years, and really valuing the smaller class sizes. Then we also have the third preschool class piece, where we had hoped pre-COVID that we'd be able to add that additional third teacher. From a programmatic federal law perspective, we really just needed 2.5, but we know how hard it is to find a half-time teacher. So we went with the third full-time in hopes that we would fill slots. What we're seeing is a change where, people just don't have the capacity for a couple hour a day care or instruction for their kiddos. They either need full-time care, or they're choosing to be home with them, or, a variety of options there. So we've never really, we've never realized that 72 student capacity in preschool to fill all of those 6 sessions for those full 3 positions. So when you look at what we're required to do, we need to have a 50-50 match. So Moira, I think it was you last time who wanted to make sure we knew where we were with that piece. So currently, we have 16 identified special education students in preschool, which would then require us to have a minimum of 16 what we call in the field peer models for communication and a variety of other skills. To offset or provide those language models, et cetera, for the students who have developmental needs. So looking at our current numbers with 16 and 16, that's a 32 student preschool program. We did push the limits a few years ago with class size. I sincerely do not recommend we go any higher than 12 in a preschool classroom. It just, with all of the toileting and developmental needs, and and you just really can't meet their objectives as well when you go bigger. So if we went down to 2 preschool teachers, we could serve a total of 48 students. Right now, we have the need for 36, so you can see there's some room for growth there.
And right now, how many peer models do we have enrolled in the preschool with our 16 identified students?
So we have 54 total. So
We have
far
more
more than the 50-50 required match.
That's the problem.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to bring this back up for further discussion. So that, and then when we look at 4th grade, which is, they're a little more independent, and right now they have 6 classrooms. So we had shared a variety of approaches to the budget last week, 5 different sort of pathways that we could take. I think I had shared, but I'll share it again, like if it would be extreme, right? If we looked at cutting 4 positions, like that would be pretty bare bones and a little risky and extreme. But preschool's its own conversation, because like what we need to do from a federal requirement is different than what we're doing now. And then if we look at even the best practice class size numbers, we are well within our policy if we just look at 4th grade and then take the early intervention lens with K and 1, and for at least another year to continue to monitor enrollment, keep those at 6 classrooms. Now, of course, if a different grade level spikes, we'll then have an additional teacher that we could potentially move around if something happens, right? You can't predict who's going to move in and move out at what grade levels they're going to be at. So with that in mind, then we would be looking at, okay, is there an incentive we can put in place to potentially give somebody what they needed to retire early? So you have to be able to be New Hampshire age eligible or years of service eligible to retire. And there's certain information that even I as superintendent can't know from an HR perspective, right? There's confidential information out there, but I've been in the district long enough to know who's been working a really long time just through conversation, et cetera. And also, I can ask broad questions like, I know what the top pay scale looks like, and then, hey, Vicki, what's the top, the family insurance look like? So when you look at our staff members at the top of the near retirement age, angle, their total package is about $147,000 with salary and a family plan. When you look at our teachers at the other end of the spectrum, even the working career, even if they're taking the family plan, if they have a young family, they're more in the $97,000 range. So you have a big gap there between those individuals. So a couple options for early retirement. So one, take a one-time cash incentive of $15,000, which the discrepancy between salary and benefits with the top person and a new teacher more than covers that $15,000. Or, and I know this is a real hurdle for people when they look at retirement, is offering 2 years of a two-person health insurance plan. So I did a little math. Of course, I don't have a crystal ball. But right now, the two-person plan costs just over $28,000. If we do a 20% increase for next year, theoretically, that would bring us to $33,768. Then that approximate, amount for a two-person plan, since it's 50% paid, the district would pay half of that 1 year, half the other. So if you take the health insurance option as an early retiree, you're basically doubling your incentive because it's over 2 years. Or if you say, hey, my spouse or whatever, I don't need health insurance, I want the $15,000 cash buyout. So just a couple different ways to look at that if we were to have people that would want to do that. And of course, we would want to make that decision pretty quickly, so we could ask for those retirements before we close out the budget process and, at that December 1 timeline. So every time we talk, we have a new lens to look at this from.
I had a question.
Sure.
I don't know what goes into it, so you might have to correct me about what would qualify the position, but I know that we've talked for years and years and years about getting a math interventionist in the district. Is that, because we're talking about a decrease in enrollment only, is there an opportunity then for any of those staff to be offered that position that we really desperately need that role? And we talked about that for years. Is that something that could be looked at? I mean, I don't know what goes into certifying that position or role or interest.
So it's not a specific certification unless you are looking like for a curriculum coordinator or somebody who had experience in that
I
area.
think
But
you'd be looking for a math specialist,
You
like
would
a
be
literacy
more-
specialist.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
My concern with that would be, we've advertised it and never been able to find somebody.
know.
We've had people internally interested, but the people who are internally interested are our math teachers.
Okay.
So I've had to say to one of them in particular, I can't let you out of the classroom, because then who's going to teach the 100 kids in the grade level? Like, we know we've struggled with math teachers, right, for years now.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw
No,
out, I
it's
know
a-
we have a need and.
We do have a need. We just don't have the qualified people out there that are applying. And I am very fearful that if we were to put a math teacher in that position, we would then not have a math teacher.
Right, okay, all right, well.
I would love nothing more than for a math interventionist or specialist to fall from the sky. Or a vending machine. I mean, I'd be willing to go either route, but we just can't find them.
And you don't think anyone in the fourth grade position would be interested in that, right? Because they're not considered a specialist, right? Is that what I'm missing?
I think if we're going to create this position, we want a math specialist that can provide professional development to our classroom
Right.
teachers, like our literacy specialists do. And I think
Right.
that's an added layer of,
Special, yeah, right.
I mean, perhaps some of our classroom teachers have it, but I suspect if they did, they would be seeking those positions that
Right.
other districts have. And
All right, sorry.
I
Throwing it out
I
there.
don't know anybody internally who has that.
maybe Emily knows someone.
Yeah.
She may. She might. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's been a dream of ours for quite some time now. We just can't. We gave up looking, as you know, and reconfigured with the computer position last year, because we're like, why do we continue to have this position posted if we can't fill it?
Right. Great.
Just to jump back 2 steps to the population trends, I know you've been tracking like the kids coming into the new developments in town. Is there absolutely no rhyme, and I know it's been less impactful than what we anticipated
Yep.
to date. Is there any rhyme nor reason, is there no rhyme nor reason to date? Are they all across the school district? They are, so it doesn't, okay.
Yeah, there hasn't been any, like, ooh, big spike in any.
High school kids are there, no, those are all ECLC, but just a.
It's a little spattering across grade levels.
Well, and I can go back and look, but if I remember correctly, even if we were to reduce the 4th grade down to 5 classes, the class sizes would be the same as they are this year, correct?
So the current 3rd grade is in 5, so they would be sliding in,
Right, but our current 4th graders with
they have 117 in the current 4th grade.
Yeah, it would bring it from 19,
0.5,
to
so they'd still be
18.6.
smaller 4th grade classes, and
Yeah.
not that you can have 18.6.
No, we're not. We're not slicing children up. But yes, so yes, that's correct. Their class sizes would remain the same.
Okay.
The other question I had is, looking at the size of the increase that we're likely to hit with insurance, and as horrible as the insurance is, does it make sense to relook at paying more for an insurance buyout incentive? So if they took insurance with a spouse, if we, based on, I don't know what the numbers are now, what we offer, but
3,000 and 4,000.
would it make sense for us to look at a higher incentive to ultimately save money for the district if you dangle a bigger carrot out there for them to take insurance?
So that is actually part of a negotiations conversation.
I get you, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
one that I'm sure will be discussed.
one that may come up soon,
Who knows?
perhaps. But yeah, I see where you're going with that.
All right, I am not a math specialist, so I just want to double check I understand this. Sorry, English major.
That's great.
So when we're talking about the health insurance option, when you're saying B, 20% increase, that's over what we're paying right now.
Right.
And then we can anticipate there's going to be another increase for the second
Right,
year.
hopefully not 20, and
Okay, so
hopefully
probably
we don't.
slightly more than this.
Potentially, yeah, we're just being hopeful that it's not, we just need, yeah, it's just a starting point for numbers.
Okay. I just
Predicting.
want to make sure.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. So I contemplated doing that, and I was like, let's, fingers crossed that it's not.
It's an even bigger dart next year.
Yeah.
but Okay, thank you.
Exactly. And I had to ask the question, like, there's a lot of rules around, spouses, and when you leave employment, like, so I had to ask Vicki, like, are we permitted to carry retirees on our insurance? And that's a yes, so we actually can do it. And that's really the thing that holds people back, right? It's that getting to that age where you can have supplemental insurance is hard, and it's expensive, so.
I know in my district, like if you put in to take the incentive, it's binding, you put in for it. I don't know if that's specific to where I work or if that is part of like the rules of
The
incentive.
buyout?
The buyout. If you say you're taking it and you put in that you're retiring, you can't change your mind, essentially, it's binding. I don't know if that's something.
Oh, so if you say you're
If we
retiring.
do offer this and a teacher puts in to take the incentive, it's binding.
Yep. Well, so right now, we have once you put it in, it's due by December 1, and you can't take it back. It's
Okay,
binding.
so it already
So I would think if we go down this road, we would want to write it up so that, yes, you can't change your mind, because people's livelihood
We're
and
basing the budget on it.
decisions are made, yeah. And other people's careers, right? Like, if we go, yeah.
But years ago, it was like the hokey pokey. They would put the retirement in, they would take the retirement out.
Yes, yes, it was the, you are right, that's a great way to. Yeah, that was a needed adjustment.
All right, I personally would like some time to ponder, and I know we have to give them some time, but if we gave you the decision at the next meeting, is that enough time?
Yeah, so
A
let
few
me put
weeks for
an
them to-
agenda item on to make a decision on this, because we probably shouldn't take any votes tonight anyway, given it's a workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted you to have it in
Yep.
front of you. And if you want, we can, I can take it a step further and do the 20%. I mean, I would hope we're not gonna have a 20% increase 2 years in a row, but like you said, I don't have a crystal ball, and it's like a dartboard at this point, so, and you all can do basic, well, your phones can do basic math, so, math
My
specialist or
third grade
not.
teacher was so wrong that I wouldn't be walking around with a calculator.
So wrong.
Right.
The statement of the year is
Yeah.
Take that, Mrs. McDougal.
I love that you know her name.
All right, so, yeah, okay.
So that's all I had for follow-up from the last time. I didn't know if you all had specific questions before we move to tonight's budget lines.
All right. Take it away, Katie.
All right, talk about a moving target. Special ed in the Barrington School District has seen a big increase this year. In the last 2 weeks, we have seen a large increase of move-ins that have a variety of needs that are not reflected in this projection. So it's going to change. I'm waiting on some WIDA scores from another state to come in. I'm anticipating some ESOL costs to increase pretty significantly with that. We've had some students with more significant needs move in the last 2 weeks that have required additional paras that have come in with IEPs and things like that. So that will all shift for like the final thing. But we've had a pretty big change in literally just the last 2 weeks. So I was trying to keep the budget as close to what it previously was as possible. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to move some things, and I'll talk about that next time. So the changes that I have, really I was trying to stay as minimal as I could. So if you look under the student services tab, there's a few big changes. One of them is our tutoring line. We've usually used that money for like students that are hospitalized, and we have to provide tutoring services for those students, or students that are out for medical leaves, or a variety of reasons that students may be out. We offer tutoring after 10 days. So that line really hasn't been spent, fortunately, because we haven't really had the need. What we've noticed and what we've seen in the last year is a drastic increase for specialized instruction that we don't have trained professionals for at this point. So that requires a specialized OG tutor, and so you see that increase there because it's an IEP need. One with recommendations from IEP teams in district, and then also students that have moved in with those services in their IEP, and they've seen growth with them, so we wouldn't have wanted to change that when they moved in. So that's that big increase there. We are fortunate to have secured a wonderful person that does that and works really well with our families and students, so I'm fortunate for that, but it is a bigger increase due to those IEP needs. Another piece you'll see is the Co-Brown speech was its own separate line, but it falls under a contracted service, so I just moved it. It's the same exact thing. It just didn't make sense to have it not under professional ed services because it fell in that same category. We use an SLC speech path that is over at Co-Brown, and actually all of the districts that send to Co-Brown use the same speech path, so we all kind of split that cost based on units of service with our students there. So there's no change there, it just is moved to the right place. You'll see in front of you, I know you haven't had time to read it fully, so I will give you a synopsis of that. I am requesting a 2-day occupational therapist. At this time, we would be looking for a contracted occupational therapist through Stratford Learning Center. We are a member district of theirs. I've already given them a heads up to see if it would even be a possibility, because OT is kind of one of those areas that's That's hard to find, right? So for 2 days, it's projected that it would cost around $45,000. That is a rough estimate, right? Like, they want to give me the high end instead of lowballing me just in the event that it needed to go higher. The reason behind that is we have a very well-trained occupational therapist assistant that works with our OT. The occupational therapist assistant, under the New Hampshire laws and rules, cannot write IEPs. They can't do evaluations anymore. They can deliver services, but they have to be under the direction of an OT, which means all of our IEPs, all of our IEP meetings, all of our evaluations, our writing of evaluations, the testing of the kids, all of the things fall onto one occupational therapist for BMS and BES. Currently, her caseload is between 65 and 70 students, which is an excessive amount of students for one occupational therapist to be evaluating. Last year, she evaluated 45 students of that caseload. That includes students that may be dysregulated, and they're trying to figure out if there is some sensory processing measure that they needed to do to determine what was happening there. So not all 45 of those are IEP students. An occupational therapist, we're fortunate, can go into classrooms and work with students that are not identified as well in this area. So it's hard to sit here and ask for a position when we're trying to talk about removing classroom positions. But what we are seeing in our classrooms and within our teachers is that they need a lot of support with behavioral strategies, dysregulation amongst students. Our students are coming more dysregulated and not school ready. And our OT is able to provide that kind of tier 1 and tier 2 support. However, with her IEP needs and caseload, it's really challenging to do that effectively. So something
We
to,
have one OT for approximately 800 children.
we have an OT at the ECLC as well.
Okay.
And
But
she
between
works
the
PK and
BES
K.
Yeah.
Yep, but for BES and BMS, we have one. And historically, that has worked because there hasn't been as many students that have moved from BES to BMS that needed to continue OT services. But what we've seen is our population has shifted and those needs have not decreased to the point where they can be discharged or put on consult, which obviously has then increased her workload at BMS.
And do you really think 2 days is enough?
I was trying not to be greedy. I went in.
Perspective of what?
Yeah, I went in originally hoping for 4. Because a full-time, it feels like a lot. Could we use it? Yes, like absolutely no doubt. Could we use a full-time OT? We definitely could, right? And it would allow us to do more intervention. It would allow us to support our teachers better. It would allow us to support our students better. Hopefully, in turn, be more effective. That comes, a 4-day OT through SLC comes at $90,000, which was originally what I wanted to propose. But then we were talking about cutting positions and we were talking about, trying to keep the budget as close to
We may as well hire a full-time.
as we can.
What's
But-
it gonna cost for full-time with benefits?
Well, if we hired our own, I don't know, 120,
Yeah, mid-level masters, about 128.
And I appreciate the sentiment of saying, because of course we're stewards of the budget and we're trying to be as respectful as we can for both the needs of the district but also our taxpayers. But the discussion about classroom sizes is based off of, and teachers with that, is based off of the data that we have about population. And so I just want everyone that's listening now or is listening later that doesn't mean that it digests the need of the students that are coming in that we have or will have in the future. So I know that if you're not in education, to me, I would think that they're the same conversation, but it's not. And I think it's important that we continue to beat that drum that the need and population are not the same thing. But thank you for
Yeah.
saying
That's a
that.
great point.
I would say additionally, if you, I know you guys want to ponder it and think about it, it's not something that we need to make a decision tonight on, but if we went with somebody even 4 days a week, an additional day, currently, historically, we have used our BES and BMS OT for our high schools. I we don't have the capacity right now. So then I'm asking either the high schools who are also contracting with SLC, or I contract with SLC to do an evaluation or to go meet with one individual child. So we're kind of one-offing those pieces right now to meet student needs, but hopefully that could kind of come back to us instead of being an additional cost. Maybe we could start to absorb that again. So,
Katie, do you know what is there a number, like an ideal caseload for a school OT? That's just something I don't.
I mean, off the top of my head, I don't want to just throw a random number out, but to me, something manageable would be between, 30 and 40 students, right?
Exactly what I was gonna say.
With the fact that we do have the OTA who's very well qualified and a fantastic professional. But even 30 to 40 students, you're bound to have several evals in a year that are just triennial, never mind new referrals or teachers that are struggling with behavioral strategies or dysregulation in the classrooms.
Could you flesh out for me and maybe amplify the first sentence of the 5th paragraph? Our occupational therapist is often the first person teachers turn to when seeking support for students who are experiencing behavioral or self-regulation challenges in the classroom. How would this new position help with our new efforts toward managing behavioral needs in the classrooms?
Good question. So our current OT's name is Brittany. She's amazing. She came from a variety of different experiences, but her main goal is really to keep kids in class regulated, give teachers tools and strategies so that they don't have to be managing behaviors, right? And so that students can sit there and learn. And if they need something because they're wiggly or because they're having an issue, they can manage that either independently quickly and get the kid back on track, or give them tools and strategies so that the student can do it independently. She's trying really hard to do that right now, but it's nearly impossible to do it effectively.
So this second position would aid in that effort.
Yeah, so we have the child study teams that we've had forever, right? Where if there's a concern, a teacher will bring a child to the child study team. The OT is always part of those conversations because often it's about school readiness, right, and dysregulation. So because they don't have to be an IEP service, they can work with all students and address some of those needs in the moment.
Kiddo is having a behavioral episode in a classroom. This person would be someone else they could call to manage that situation. So that
Potentially, not to manage the immediate need, but what they would do is they would then figure out is there a sensory processing issue here? Do we need to do some heavy work? Do we need to do some sensory work? Do we need to give them a calm down corner? What do they need, right? So they could do some observations, they could do some informal evaluations to determine what that student needs in a quicker fashion than we're able to do right now.
We really need somebody to do evaluations, right? So to free up Brittany, who knows our classrooms and our kids and can be that on the front line support. You can contract out, evaluations, and your results are your results to a standardized assessment to bring to the table. So just relieves Brittany a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Also just like to add for people who are online or might watch this later, our teachers know a lot about sensory processing, but the same suggestion, the heavy work could calm Katie down, but send Vicky.
Right.
So that's why we look to our OTs, because they have that expertise to know what does that kid need in that type of situation.
And where's the threshold?
And then what can be safely, quietly, not disrupting the class, be implemented in the classroom, and what I need to leave the classroom for this sort of swing break or whatever, that kind of thing. So, I would wholeheartedly agree that one, for 2 buildings the sizes we have is just not enough. Particularly not with, everything we hear, because children are coming in much more dysregulated than they ever have in my 30-some odd years of teaching.
Yep.
And you just hear it across the country. It's not.
Yeah, it's not unique to
specific,
Barrington,
yeah.
that's for sure. So if I were to go all in again, I'd ask for a full-time, right? But you can start with 2 days. Ponder it, think about it. SLC is aware of the need, and they can do full-time, they can do 2 days, they can do 4 days. They've already got us on the list as
we were to do
hiring.
full-time, it'd be more economical to hire.
Hire, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's
I
the
would
hard
say if we
part.
can't find somebody, we would want to look at contracting.
Is that a reasonably easy position to fill, or no?
No. It's pretty specialized.
If we were going to entertain it, I would want to blanket it like we've done with speech positions in the past and post it every which way we can come up with, right? Because you
Yeah.
can always go to SLC, thank goodness, we're a member district and we were on the list, right? But if we advertise for a part-time, if we advertise for 3 days a week, if we advertise for full-time and we see what falls from the sky, then we can, if the money's in the budget, we can make the best use of that money depending on what we can find. But having our own staff would be preferable.
I just want to put another like plug in there for like tier 1. Writing is one of those trickier areas because it's a lot of executive functioning, but it also has a lot of fine motor skills needed. So Brittany is piloting a new like writing program that is OT based with gen ed classroom teachers to give all students that support this year. So hopefully we'll see some success with that, but it would allow her to do more of that to give students more access in class.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but some of these services are going to be required no matter what.
Correct.
And so, again, the issue comes back to is that you have one person trying to take care of 800 people. At some point, somebody's going to stand there and say, we don't care what you're doing. You're not meeting what you have to do.
Correct.
So I don't think it's fair to compare adding this position to potentially a reduction in staffing, because you can reduce staffing and still keep manageable class sizes. So I don't think it's fair to say, well, geez, in this hand, they want to reduce staff, but they want to bring somebody
agree
in
with
over
you.
here. I think it's important for everybody to understand, including people that may listen to this later, is that, at some point, we could be pushed into, we don't care how you do it, have a bake sale or whatever, but figure out, you have to provide these services.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm not willing to compare one to the other. I think that if the need is there to provide that service, it doesn't take away from the fact that we still shouldn't be looking at reducing staffing. And we're looking at a better than 3% increase right now. And the taxpayers are going to get a $2 increase in their tax bill in about, Merry Christmas, folks. So you add a 3% on there at some point, where is it coming from?
I agree with you. The need is definitely there, and I would say we are very fortunate with the OT we have and her patience and understanding and her drive and her hard work, but it's draining for her. It's hard.
So
So,
at some point, if they get burnt out, and then where are you?
that's that. There's just a few kind of like dips and moves, nothing major. The only other one is the out of district. That's private high school. It's an out of district cost. And again, that's IEP driven, dependent on who we have moving and shifting in and out of the district at any moment. That was an increase within the last 2 weeks for a variety of reasons that I can't discuss here, but, so that's where you see that cost. Tuition for Co-Brown, we are still requiring one para over there. We're anticipating our, as you guys know, we pay our tuition bill, but additional, we pay a cost for every additional special ed student that goes. We have an onslaught of 12th graders graduating from Co-Brown this year, which is fantastic. So right now we sit at 14 students. We're coming in hopefully projecting 9 with one paraprofessional need, but that paraprofessional cost has increased as well. So that's that cost. And then what is not on here is we kept our high school para cost at the same because we haven't we've had more kids move from 8th grade into high school. So while we've had a few age out, it didn't balance out or change really anything. So, and then the transportation line is directly from our transportation contract with First Student. Not much we can do there. Luckily, it's not a massive increase like it has been in the past, and it's predictable. Garth, last week you asked about, I think it was books and materials
Yeah.
being high and expending less than we anticipated. There's a variety of reasons for that. One being, I anticipated an ELA curriculum being purchased for this year, but we bumped it out till next year. So I'm anticipating that purchase happening for next year, which we increased that line because not always extra materials and books and things come with that curriculum for the Tier 1 instruction. And I wanted to be prepared to be able to provide for special ed students as well. So there's a little money there for that. And then additionally, all of our, one of our interventions, all of those materials came out of a grant previously. When that grant went away, we expended all of it with like an onslaught of those materials. So for a year, we've had extra materials. We've depleted that. So I didn't want to move that line because we're going to have to restock for next year in order to provide for our students that require that service. So I'm anticipating that line to be spent, maybe not fully down, but pretty close to fully down, depending on what ELA curriculum we purchase and what needs to come out for other students.
That's very reasonable. Forgive me if it seems like nitpicking, but under
No, it's okay.
under the tutor line,
Yep,
increase of 29,500.
yep.
29,500 plus 5,500 is 35,000, not 40,000.
Yep, you're right. But I want to put 40 in.
Okay.
Yep.
And then under the contracted therapy
That's my
for
math
out of
skills. I need
districts,
the math interventionist too.
It says 17,000 approved. It's a decrease of 5,000.
Yep.
17,000 minus 5,000 is 12,000.
12,000. There's a math thing. Can I see your thing? Thanks. And that really is for charter school. That's charter school services.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm just
12,000.
$1,000 here,
Yeah.
$1,000 there.
It
Give it a
works.
40, she
Yeah.
can give you the 20.
Thank you.
Yep.
I just have a question on the 2100s. Is, for some reason, the health insurance for the social worker is listed at 15% and everyone else is listed at 20% increase? Are we expecting their insurance is just gonna be cheaper?
No. I started it, I just wanted to remember to change it.
Yep, they're spread throughout the whole budget, so every time we make a change, she's gonna find all the individual.
Okay, that's fine.
Good catch, Moira. Yeah, isn't that fun?
Worker. It's at 15.
job, man.
I didn't get any of these minutes because I was talking. She already changed it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess.
I know. I would anticipate the ESOL number changing
Yeah.
within the last 2 weeks. I'm hopeful the other ones can remain, but I'll look at
People understand
units.
Much of this is out of our control.
Yes, and yeah, that's the unfortunate part, but
I've been searching for it, I can't find it, but I'll just create a new one.
Yeah, I know we did it, and it was great.
Well, now I'm ready for some good news.
come on, Jeff.
Technology, woo.
That has a one-liner.
Student services done, yeah. All right, well, technology line items, 2225, 3400 through 2225, 8100. All of those line items are pretty stable. I really don't have any surprises. Overall, though, there is an increase of 9,551, and that's exclusively due to software subscription increases. So otherwise, for hardware, software, and infrastructure, where the current budget is meeting our needs as today. So
I love you, man.
I haven't. I would love to entertain questions.
Everyone take note, okay? This guy.
Garth has hearts coming.
Yeah, so if you have any questions for me. We can look, check my math.
Yeah, check
Could be
that.
some math errors.
No, I don't want to check your math. That's good. It looks spot on to me.
In case it's wrong the other way.
Yeah.
You're going the wrong way.
And you moved all your stuff over here.
Well,
Yeah.
it's for the video.
Camera.
Yeah, yes. Jeff wanted to be on camera for sure.
Documentation.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
So if we approve
comfortable
only
with it? It's all
technology
good?
next year and nothing
We're looking
else.
good.
That's it, we're good.
Pretty good, I mean.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're back up to public comment. Anyone online? Going once? Going twice? We're gonna give Jeff time to get back and double check. All right then, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All
You made
those
the
in
minutes.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.